Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk and welcome to Coffee and Card in May 2025, and spring is here. I'm looking at sunshine, it's fabulous. So we're using the textured notes, stamps and dies this month, so lots of beautiful, very accurate dies. They're absolute dies. Stamps, they're gorgeous. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rectangles, 8 because there's one up there as well, all with a different pattern in around the edge, so they're absolutely gorgeous. So, and we're going to use 3 of them on today's card, and here it is. So you are seriously the best, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Now I have taken as inspiration for this card a layout that they've done on the new catalogue, but this video is being released on May the 1st and the new catalogue isn't being released until next week, which means I can't show you the picture, which is a shame because I had planned on. Anyway, so it's on page 164 if you have the catalogue, and you can have a look. They've done the same layout but in lots of different colour combinations. So I've taken the browns colour combination and this is what I've come up with. So similar but not the same. Okay, so we have in your pack now, the first thing to notice in your pack, you've got a pack of designer series paper. Now this is the woven texture designer series paper. Yep, and this has got 3 sheets of 4 different designs. So to get to the 12 pages, instead of doing 2 of 6, they've done 3 of 4, which is really nice because you've got more paper. So, and that's the front side. So you've got 4 pieces, 6 by 6, and that's the back. So my favourite's this one. Oh, I just love this. We had chairs like this when we were children, but they were coloured. And then obviously the basket weave on the other side. It reminds me of raffia placemats. So lots of lovely textures in browns and greys. So it's grey granite, so it is a browny grey. Okay, and the one we're using today is this one. Okay, now this is on 2 cards, so you do need to be careful how you cut it because this is on next week's card as well. So I'll pop this away. You've also got in your kit for your first card, so that's separate in a separate paper bag, and then you've also got a strip of these natural matte dots, which are really gorgeous because they're lovely colours and they're flat. They are so flat. They're not going to wreck your envelopes. Okay, so let us get started. Now, I've already cut out these 2 pieces. I'm finding with these rectangles, apart from the sentiments, I'm die cutting before I stamp, which is not like me, anybody who knows me. Usually do it the other way around. So in your kit you've got a piece of basic white which is going to go on the inside, and this is 9.5 by 13.9. all the measurements will be down below. And then I've got some early espresso, and that's 3 by 9 centimeters. This is actually the 2-tone card with the white centre. You probably can't see on the camera. It's got a white core, so there's a darker side and a paler side, and I've used the darker side on mine. Usual Stampin' Up envelope, and then your card base, 21 by 14.85, scored at 10.5 centimeters. And then I've got a strip for you to make your sentiment. Now that you are going to be stamping and then die cutting. Okay, so, and then these I've used, so if you number the dies from the center, this is die 5 and that is die 4. Okay, so if you cut those out to start with, and then we're ready to go. Okay, so now I actually made these cards in the opposite way around, but I wanted to make sure you left this strip, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So for the next card you need to cut off a strip at 9.5 centimeters. Okay, and that'll be for the other card. Okay, so I am so much stuff in the way. So I'm going to cut a strip of 9.5 centimeters, and that is for card 2. Okay, so put that with the rest of your paper, and that leaves you with this strip, which is for this card, and I'm going to leave it at 6 inches because I'm going to trim it when I've finished. Okay, or when I've stuck it on. Right, okay, so we've got that. So we're going to do a bit of stamping. So, and I've stamped in crumb cake today. I've gone really neutral. You could even use a colour, you could use mossy meadow, you could anything, because it's a neutral base. This is all in Pecan Pie. So I've used Pecan Pie and basic white. That's not basic white, this is basic white. Right, so using my crumb cake in, the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my leaves on the piece I've already cut. So put those out of the way for now. So I've got a bit of room. Just tapping on the ink pad. Okay, and then just centering that up and just placing that, just so all the leaves are on the inside basically. So it just about fits nicely. Gently pressing evenly, and there we go. I just love the different textures. Also in later weeks we're actually going to colour in these leaves in a slightly different colour, which also looks amazing. So that out of the way, and then I'm going to get the sentiment. Now I'm finding because it's such a tiny sentiment, they've left quite a bit of rubber around the outside, so I'm finding bits of this are catching. So quick tip, ink up your stamp and then look at it. Right, so I've managed not to catch any, so I'll ink that up again. So if I just rock it slightly, there you go, loads. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take my microfiber cloth and do it on a single layer and just take that ink off. Okay, and it's because it's such a narrow sentiment that they've had to do that. Okay, so there's just a bit still there. There we go. So it's always worth a quick flip and have a look and see whether or not you've got any edges. And also the best way to avoid them is to just go straight down and not wobble your stamp. So I'm just going to go straight down. Now it's quite a long stamp, so I am pressing it in the middle and trying not to wobble. Narrow stamps, they do. Yay! There we go. So I've got no little halos there. So it's always worth checking, particularly on stamps like these, that you're not getting the halo. Right, so that's our stamping done. Pop that out of the way and I'll get my die cutting machine and my die. So I'm using the very, very thin one on this. And it did take, it clearly is absolutely designed to do this stamp. So it literally just fits. And I'm just going to get some die cutting tape. This is by Craft Perfect and you can get it from Amazon, and it is literally die tape. It's better than washi tape because it's not as sticky, so you don't get the glue marks on your plates of your die cutting machine, which used to drive me mad. I was forever having to clean them after class. Always little bits of glue from washi tape. Okay, so we've got the die cutting machine. I'm going to pop this on at an angle so it's not hitting the rollers straight on. Okay, and I did find when I didn't put the tape on this one, it jumped. So it's well worth taping that in place. I get mine from Amazon. My Craft Perfect tape is fabulous. Okay, so let's just check we're still in screen. We are. So we're ready to put the card together now. And also you can reuse it. So I usually have on the side of my desk a row of pieces of tape that have already been used once, but it stays sticky enough for quite a while. So there we go. How cute is that? And as I say, it's a very cozy fit. Right, so we'll start in the middle of the card and work backwards. Glue, glue, glue. So May's a 5-week month. It's a 5 Thursday month, so you're getting bonus cards this month. So but no scary boxes like last month. It was a really simple box last week. I hope you managed okay with it. Okay, and then have a play with your arrangement. So I think I did that about 2 centimetres. In fact, I know I did it at 2 centimetres. So I am going to use my die tape again. So I'm popping that up to the 2 centimetre line, which is 4 squares, not 5, Linda. There. And then getting my die tape again and sticking it down. And then I'm just going to line it up. That's an Amazon parcel arriving. Just going to line it up with the 2 centimetre mark. You can put it where you want, but that's where I put it. Okay, and then I'm gluing, but I'm doing just shy of the edges because it is going to overlap. Okay. And then, there we go. So, and just lining it up top and bottom. It's moved. There we go. Maybe 2 pieces of die tape were needed. So I've lined it up with the bottom of the card and the 2 centimetre line. There we go. There we are. So I just need to trim the top. Okay, come off. Should get commission on those die tapes, shouldn't I? I'm always saying how good they are. Right, okay, and I'm just going to take my big scissors and trim across the top. I just like it when these just fit rather than, and we all have various levels of accuracy of cutting. So it's better to cut it to size when it's on than try and estimate before. Right, okay, so I'm very dusty here today. So this is all glued together and then mounted on dimensionals. So I'm just going to pop some glue on this. Just look at every single rectangle has a different effect on the side, on the edges. I think you'll be seeing these loads in my cards, and because they all layer beautifully as well. So it's just really nice. There we go. And then I just popped this so it was just coming out a bit on the side and in the middle. Measurements are down below of all the pieces that I've used. But if you're a real need to know the measurement, that is 2 centimetres. Okay, again, 2 centimetres. So I do like my 2 centimetres clearly. So if I put that there again, and that there, and then the grid paper is really useful for lining stuff up. There we go. Okay, so I've put the darker side up. And then I'm just going to put dimensionals all over the back of this, which I had got out. Now this is quite thin, so I am going to put more than I would do normally on there where it is just that, and then the normal amount everywhere else. I might put 2 in the middle there. To be honest, it depends what you're doing with it. If you're just handing it to someone, then you don't need to put millions on. But if you are sending it through the post, you might want to put on a few more, because they are very firm, our dimensionals, and they are hexagons for a reason. Firstly, because they tessellate together really nicely on the sheet, but also they spread the load better than squares, allegedly. Oops, that one's gone, that one's gone, this one hasn't. Right, and then I just put the whole sort of piece in the middle of the card, so vertically and horizontally. So similar gap either side, similar gap top and bottom. There we go. Got grease marks on that. I hope that's going to go. Right, the white double different sided card in the new catalogue is available in every colour in 12 by 12. And it's got the white core, which is, us Stampin' Up ladies aren't used to white cores, we're used to solid cores. So I think it's a bit of a nod to the close to my heart people. Okay, and then I have just popped that towards the left of the card, and I just put glue in the middle where it's going to cross the foliage. Straight, yeah, it's straight. And then I need my neutral matte dots. So I've given you a whole strip of these. You don't need them all. I don't think I've used the black ones, so you can use those for your own projects. I have 6 pokey tools. Why is it I can never find one when I'm looking? Right, so I've put one of the big ones at the bottom, and then randomly scattered the others. So 2 little ones. So I'm going to put one of them here to just emphasising the sentiment again. I was really stuck where to put the other one. I've put it in the top corner, not sure that's right. So I'm going to bring it in a bit this time. Nope, lost it. I'm going to have to use this one. We're not going to use the other big one, so if that does happen to you, you can use the other big one. So I'm just going to pop it there. Am I? Yes. So it just forms a triangle. There we go. So that's card 1. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.